All right. Welcome in, everybody, to Wednesday's edition of Daily Bread. Coming at you live right at 4:20 on the East Coast. A perfect time to be locking in those Wednesday night bets in the NBA and college hoops since we have a loaded slate on both sides of the board tonight. And you already know today's episode is powered by the Wise Guys Diamond Club. Be sure to be hopping into their DMs for the weekend, or month package because you already know the World Cup is right around the corner. Plays already available. Hop into those DMs. We're live on
hmm
Twitter. Hit the link in the title if you want to be featured in today's show, dropping your best bets, letting us know that we took 2 days off or 3 days off and yell at us for that. Whatever our subs want to do, we got the best ones out there. But Sosa, how you feeling on this Wednesday?
I'm feeling great, man. A lot of positive stuff taking place over the last couple of days. Um, the NFL's gone well. The Niners won. We haven't really got to talk about football. We didn't get to talk about that big ass L that you guys collected on Monday night against the Washington Commanders, a team that most people thought shouldn't even been on the field with you. So I just wanted to make sure that we reminded the people that your football team caught an L.
Fumbled the game away.
Huh?
We fumbled the game away. Easiest way to put it.
Oh yeah, but y'all lost. So that's
Yeah,
all.
you fumbled the game away. Easiest way
Yeah,
to
y'all
put it.
lost. Yeah, y'all lost. Yeah,
Fumbled it away.
yeah, y'all lost.
Feel
Nice
good
haircut,
beating a
though. I love
depleted
the
Charger
cut.
side. That's what
I love
happens
the
when you
cut.
feel good beating a depleted Charger side. Start sniffing
Huh?
500. That's
Oh,
the
so
energy we get.
oh, oh yeah. Because beating the Jacksonville Jaguars is a hell of a prize. And I was like, we need the Jags. I guess. Huh? I guess. Oh, word. I mean, that's allowed.
That's a lot more than 10 states, but no.
Imagine me being offended by a Detroit sports fan.
The city mixer. He's bringing the city mixer shit back in. But nah, man, it's
Well,
been
yeah,
sad times. The Philly sports, they had their 5 days of grace, and now back in the mud where we deserve to be. But I don't know. I never got on here tooting the Eagles' horn too hard. So
okay.
division game plus 11. Anyone who had the Commanders money line, I think our man Sam had the Commanders money line. So shout out to him if you had that.
Absolutely, man.
I lose loyally. Me too. Me too.
That's fucking splendid.
College football board. There's a lot of chaos scenarios out there. So that's essentially what I'm rooting for. JD's going live on our channel tonight instead of tomorrow for his DFS plays on DraftKings. So make sure you're tapped in there tonight at 7 o'clock to lock in those winners, get some early leans on some lines, because when he's breaking down the game from a DFS wise, you can always apply that to the spread. But a lot of chaos scenarios out there.
I mean, everybody and their mother was on Texas on Sunday. Bro, listen, they may never be back ever. Texas A&M, my God, bro. Everyone, from what I heard, NIL was going to like just make them such contenders and teams that are going to be,
Guess who has a better record than Texas A&M?
Kansas.
Well, yeah. So does Vanderbilt.
Yeah, I didn't know about that, but I knew Kansas for sure had a better. Again, man, it's unbelievable to me that some of the parity we've seen this season is absolutely insane. We're seeing teams that shouldn't be anywhere. I mean, TCU top 4.
Hypnotoad, man. You hating on the Hypnotoad?
Yes, I'm fucking hating. I don't know how they keep doing it. They just keep.
I mean, they signed a solid coach, and this was the first week where they didn't have the you can only beat up a backup QB storyline that JD was talking about on Paid for Play this past Saturday. But hey, they're just showing up and winning their games, and shout out to them. I mean, this is kind of where you have the Ohio State Michigan drama, then you get the Tennessee LSU drama, depending on how those teams end the season. A lot of ways this can go wild. And I think we're in for more chaos.
I think we're in for some interesting stories. Obviously, it's going to be a
But the
while.
Pac-12 and ACC are dead, so don't worry about that. No drama from those two.
Oh, I mean, when UCLA catches an L to Arizona,
Colorado.
that's a season ender.
Hey, Arizona.
Obviously, we got USC and UCLA at the fucking Coliseum this week, but nobody seems to give a fuck because I don't think either.
Sold out.
Yeah, I told y'all it was coming though. Like I knew it'd be a showdown. I didn't think that UCLA would fumble the bag so badly against Arizona on Saturday. I didn't see that coming.
What about Bo Nix fumbling the bag too?
But we expect that, right? Like we know, like it's like, it's like at some point the carriage is going to turn back into.
It wasn't on Bo Nix. I mean, he got hurt. It wasn't on him for that one there. Penix was just trying to get back in the Heisman race. That's really all that was. That man couldn't miss. I mean, there's no defense being played from Oregon, but that man couldn't miss a deep ball to save his life that day.
Absolutely.
Holy shit.
He was
that rivalry game is crazy. Always happens between Washington and Oregon like that.
He was super locked. I can't even lie. Yeah, I mean, as far as the NFL goes, nothing to really sneeze at this week that just went by. Josh Allen lost again. But they lost to the team that's tied for first place in the NFC. So that's one thing. Just nothing really super eventful in my opinion in regards to the NFL this past week. That's just my personal thoughts on it.
What about McDaniels not getting fired because they can't financially afford it?
That's a lie. That's all bullshit. Come on, you believe that shit?
That was the only thing that I thought that was needed to be talked about because you saw Derek Carr get emotional. I mean, a lot of people did not expect them to be as poor. Some thought they had a chance to win the division, and oh boy, did McDaniels does not look like the right hire whatsoever, let alone anything else that's going on there.
He might be the worst head coach ever. Like ever. I'm not even
Is Jeff Saturday a better head coach than Josh McDaniels?
Yes. I'm serious, man. Josh McDaniels, he stinks. And I know they've lost a lot of games by like small margins, and that's part of the game, right? Like it's part of football. Football is a game where it's going to be decided by 5 or less. That's football. The reason why it's the lines are the sharpest for any professional sport in the world, not just in America, in the world. But man, you talk about just the mental wherewithal to figure out a way to win games. They just can't do it, and I think that it falls squarely on the coach, man. We had a fucking, a special teams guy last year take over that team and drag them to the playoffs. You're telling me you spend a bunch of money in free agency? I know the offensive line's not great. You squander 3 17-point leads in your first 6 games. That's bad coaching, bro. That's bad coaching. That's getting in your own way. I don't care about people trying to make it seem like, no, it's all bullshit, bro. It's unacceptable. Absolutely unacceptable by Josh McDaniels. Absolutely unacceptable. I think he'll be fired. I don't believe in that financial bullshit. He should be fired. So that's where I'm at with that. No other real thoughts. I mean, Kingsbury should be fired too.
That was a great backup QE game we got out of nowhere.
Well, you ain't lying. That little Wolford's a little sneaky athletic, ain't he?
Hey, Cole McCoy, is he the best backup in the league?
No, that'd be Case Keenum. No. Best backup in the league is Jimmy G. Obviously. What do you mean?
Well, I guess now, yeah. But I was about to say.
Obviously the best backup in football. I'm not going to let anybody fuck that up. My starter is Trey Lance. I don't care what anyone says. Jimmy is the backup. Sorry to break the news to you guys. It's a fact. Yep.
Last thing. We got to get there because we're about to get to the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
Joel. That's it. Just needed to say Joel.
21, man. What else needs to be said? He's 21. That's what he does. 59 piece, extra sauce. It's all good, man. Everybody want to do this. He's finally looking like he's in basketball shape. When he's in basketball shape, not too many people can really do anything for him. And the best part is we get the whole week off. Did you peep that? We don't play till Friday. We get Giannis on Friday after 5 days off. What NBA team gets 5 consecutive days off in the middle of the season? This is weird, right? That's not strange to you. We had a back-to-back Saturday, Sunday, and they don't play till Friday. That's like a great little break built in there for us. I love it.
The court was dope also on Sunday night, too. That was one of the coolest parts. The throwback court, it literally looked like St. Joe's Prep court of the Palestra back in the day. But
oh yeah, the floor. That was rather. I liked it. I enjoyed it.
It's way better than Oregon's floor. But for today's NBA plays, just because Sixers aren't in action, I think we have 9 games on the board tonight. It was
got a full slate, nine ball games.
Don't quote me on that. I could be completely wrong on how many, but where are we starting on today's board?
Hey, first play for me is going to be in the Minnesota Timberwolves Orlando Magic game. The Orlando Magic, while they've competed really well with some teams, they're missing their best player. Paolo's not healthy. They're missing a few guys. The team is not the same when he doesn't play. They can compete for 3 quarters. But outside of that game against Dallas, when it gets to the 4th quarter, that team kind of they have a rough go of it, man. They're just a young team, inexperienced, don't really have an identity, and also are part of the Wembanyama Olympics. So, just for me,
it's the only place they show up if they show up.
Yeah, like I said, I think it's a fast-paced game, lots of points. Give me the Minnesota Timberwolves team total over 114.5. It's my favorite play of the night. Minnesota should be able to get whatever they want offensively. There's really nobody that can stay in front of Anthony Edwards. I don't think their bigs are super physical. I think that Minnesota should show out here and play a pretty good offensive game against the Orlando Magic. That's my favorite NBA play of the night.
All right, I got a fishy line for you because it's one of our favorite spots of all time is on the board tonight. So that's what I'm saying. When I heard your favorite, this wasn't it. The Knicks are going from Utah to Denver tonight, and it's only -3. Tell me what's wrong there, because I know I might not have capped this as depth as everyone in the lab for an hour staring at stupid spreadsheets, but you're telling me 3 for Denver, MPJ? I know we just got 31 the other day, but 3?
I mean, they don't have Joker's props up either. I think Joker, there's a chance that he might sit out tonight.
Then that's what it is.
I think that's what it's got to be. I think it's that Joker's not right.
I mean, there's no other way this spread is that low, because even with that, you get the back-to-back from Utah to even when your star's out, what do we usually like to do?
I also wouldn't put any stock into it. Joker don't take nights off. So it's a lot of foolery. Obviously, like you said, back-to-back, and the Knicks made a 4th quarter comeback last night. They were down 6 in the 4th, came back, won the game. Utah dropped their 3rd straight. A lot of people thought that Utah wasn't Fugazi. I promise you, they're cubic zirconiums. I promise you that. This start is simply to let all these guys build their value before they get shipped out somewhere. That's all that's going to go on in Utah. Come All-Star break, they'll have completely different players on the team.
I mean, I guess you could wait to later into tip to lock it in. I got 2.5 sitting on my book here. Give it to me even if Joker's out. Money line is sitting at -150. You can wait to see if it drops even more, but the Utah to Denver, vice versa travel spot, one of our favorites there.
Absolutely.
Let's rock it.
Yes, sir. I love it.
What do you got for us next?
My second play is going to be in the Miami Heat Toronto Raptors game. And it is the over 250. It's the over 215.5. Over 215.5 in the Miami Heat Toronto Raptors game. A lot of injuries for Miami. They got players in and out of the lineup. They're really not the defensive team that people have come to be accustomed with. Also, I just think that the Raptors here are just prepared to put some points on the board against a team that's a bit just undermanned in my opinion. I'm seeing Adebayo possibly may not play. Even if he goes, I like this Toronto team. I like this Toronto team to score some points. I think that 215.5 is a low number for this particular matchup. So my favorite play is the over 215.5 in the Toronto Miami Heat game. Correct.
All right, all our Pels fans, you might need to throw some earmuffs on. I think the Bulls pull it out tonight in the Smoothie Center.
Well, we can go head to head on this one.
Ooh, you like the Pels?
Yeah, I like the Pels, especially after last night. They won last night. Alvarado looked like, he did it. Alvarado did a great job against John Morant. Nobody will give him this credit, obviously, because he's just a bench guy. But we've loved Alvarado since he was at Georgia Tech. We knew the type of ball player that he's been. He just needed an opportunity. He's the same guy we've watched play there. He's gritty. He's an absolute dog.
He's developed a great amount too. So shout out to Willie for that. I mean, he might not be getting as many minutes as some Pels fans want out of him so far, because Graham's kind of like, from what I've seen on Twitter, we're locked in with the Pels. They don't like Graham getting the minutes. They want to see Dyson get some more along with Alvarado.
They can really, really shoot. Also, last night, CJ McCollum broke out of his slump. He did his press conference last night. And so I guess I was unaware of this, but he's actually been sick the last 2 weeks. He was talking about it like, he's been playing, but he hasn't been physically right. And he said last night was the first time in a couple of weeks where he felt good, which makes sense. He had 27, I think. He finished 27. He finally hit over 3 threes. He kind of figured it out.
All right, so we'll do lunch bet on this one. No official plays.
Yep.
We'll get some Thursday lunch action going here.
We're head to head. I'm 100% on the Pels. I think this is when they.
You got anything for Suns Warriors?
Probably not going to watch it. No. I think Clay's playing tonight. I know a lot of people got really excited about. They got really excited about Jordan Poole going off against the fucking Spurs. Like, relax, bro. Like, it's Clay. Clay said, "Listen, the last time we heard from Clay said it's coming. The jump shot's coming." I know he's your favorite player. I know that much. I'm betting his threes tonight. Last time he played against these guys, got ejected. Big revenge angle. Give me his over 3.5 threes at plus 140. I'm not with the under bullshit. I'm rocking with him tonight. I think that Clay comes out here and plays well. Off a night off. A lot of chirping going on about he can't do this, can't do that. He's been backrooming a shit ton of shots, which means he's close. He's very close. It's the same situation that was going on with Anthony Edwards. Obviously, Anthony Edwards not the world-renowned shooter that Klay Thompson is. But when you turn on the tape, he's just bricking, right? It's not that he's not getting good looks. It's not that he's taking shots that he hasn't taken before. He's just putting up bricks. I like Klay tonight, man. Over 3.5 threes. I'm getting it at a plus 140. Imagine getting that number at a plus 140 3 years ago. You'd be out of your fucking mind. No fucking.
Well, that was 3 years ago.
I don't care. That was a bad example, but you know what I mean. I'm saying some of these dudes watching weren't even fucking betting 3 years ago. Don't want to hear it.
Who's ending the losing skid tonight? The Bucks or the Cavs?
The Bucks have become the Bucks of 2 years ago. If Jrue Holiday is not playing, you can't bet on him. He's their most important player. Everybody thinks it's Giannis, but look at how they're terrible without Jrue in the lineup. And it's crazy. It's crazy the variance that team carries when he's not in the lineup. They're just not the same team. They don't execute the same defensively. He's their best perimeter defender, their best overall defender. I know everybody loves Giannis because he's a great off-ball guy, great help defender. No Jrue. This team's just completely different. They don't.
So you're saying the point guard matters in basketball?
I'm saying him in particular for that team, because there are certain teams a guy can sit out and you can find ways to maneuver. For him, for Milwaukee, irreplaceable. No one can do what he does for that team from an all-around, from a complete level. From a defensive side, they just don't play the same, man. 2 years ago, they went, I believe, like 1-8 The year they won the title, they were like 1-8 with him out the lineup. They were terrible without him. He's that important. If he's not playing, I'm not inclined to wager my money on that team. I just can't do it. It's irresponsible.
And those are basically all the big games of the day, except for the last one, Boston at Atlanta.
I got to look with this one. I got to wait a little closer to game time. Don't want to be caught in a situation where the injury report fucks you. Also, like Boston's been doing it. They do a lot of questionable about 10 minutes before the game fucking starts. All that other bullshit. Kind of just monitoring that game. I think
it looks like Brogdon and Smart are supposed to be out. Keyword exactly to what you were saying.
So it's just too much right there for me to commit to it from any betting angle until I see who's in and out of the lineup. That's one of the games where if Marcus Smart doesn't play and Brogdon doesn't play, like why would I bet on a team with their two best shot creators for others, right? They're 1 and 2 on the team in assists. I just can't do it. But yeah, that's all I really have for the NBA. I want to get into some college hoop stuff because we're back. I'm officially 2-0 in college basketball on the show. Crazy we didn't have a show the last couple of days because my record would be even better. But we're here. We're back. And we'll let you lead it off since you're the greatest college basketball handicapper I've ever been in contact with. So I'm going to let you.
Well, I wanted to start it off with this season might be the biggest contrast between the NBA and college hoops that we ever had.
And just
like style-wise, like I think it's 10 of the 12 Naismith finalists are all centers or big guys, and they're all centers that basically can't make it in the NBA at this point. Or if they were to make it, they'd be coming off the bench. And that's where I'm saying this season we'll see the most fans who tune over will hate it if they catch one of those games because it's going to be different style. You have some teams that are committed to the 3 and D style, but the big man is going to win the championship this year. That's what's essentially going to do it.
Say that again?
A big man. A team with a solid center will get it through to this season. No doubt. So that's where I'm not saying you have to look at the Naismith finalists, but if with the right matchup, I know the March Madness is the 6th most chaotic and random games. I just think with the contrast and how quick the fall off is from a solid center from the top 10, it gets bad quick.
I think it's too early to tell. I know there's a lot of bigs like Sheboy. What's the white boy from Kansas from last night?
Not even him. He's not even up there.
He's good. I mean, man, he's really good. They had a big man from Duke last night that played. The names escape me at the moment. But I think you're probably right in regards to that. There are some guys that are going to have some say, though. You know what I mean? I'm not exactly on the same page as far as it definitely being a big man. Because there's a lot of wings, man.
I'm saying if you pair the big man with the wing, especially this year, how it's gotten you titles before.
That's fair.
That's where, and Eddie said it, I have a little bit of a Kentucky bias. This squad did not pull out the dub last night. That was by far an Izzo masterclass. But if Cal can't get it right with the talent he has this year, he might be on the hot seat for me because
that's not true. He's got 4 of the top 10 recruits coming in next year, including DJ Wagner.
No, I'm saying, but this year, the talent he has on the roster this year, I think it's a different level.
North Carolina is North Carolina, Kansas, Duke, Gonzaga. I think all 4 of those teams have better talent than Kentucky collectively.
You mean the team that struggled with Gardner Webb and can't get Baycott a shot inside?
I know you're not being serious right now. I know you're not being serious. It's all right. Like it's cool. I know you're not being serious right now. So it's all right. I've learned you enough to know that there's no fucking way you're being serious right now. So it's okay.
But that did happen though.
On to the next game. It's good.
That did happen though last night.
It's totally fine. I get it. I got nothing to say.
All right, let's go. Gonzaga Texas to start it off the rip. Don't tease them at all because the Zags, one of the few times throughout the year there'll ever be dogs, plus 120 on the money line. You got a 2-point spread. You got the total sitting at 144, 143.5, depending on your book here. And when you're just breaking down this game, there's different ways you could go about it, from who's going to determine the style.
Absolutely.
Gonzaga is going to try to push it and get this completely over the total. So that's where you see a lot of projection sites having this all the way up in the 150s because they're thinking Texas will probably have to run with them too much. Plus, Texas is efficient when they get the right spots here. And this is where I think if there's one of the four parts of the team that can determine it, and it's going to be Gonzaga's defense here, that's going to flip the switch here. And that's where I'll take the bait and take the Zags on the money line at plus 120.
Listen, I'm usually there with you. I'm with you 100% on the Gonzaga pick. But as we all know, it's a complete contrast of styles. Texas bogs you down. They make you take bad shots. The game is on Texas campus. I thought it was a neutral site.
No, they got them to travel. So that's where, if you're like me and you like Texas, you might just want to take the over instead of rocking the money line because it's going to be a back and forth game. We can't bet live, so we're playing all our lines pre-action because you're going to get both teams probably sitting at a +6 at both times of the game when the game's sitting at a pick 'em. So that's just where you'll be able to tell from the momentum. But I just think what do we see from Texas in the final minutes, in the 8 minutes of games? They struggled to get shots big time, and they struggled to finish effectively here. And that's where I think few can get this one through, and especially if Texas falls into the trap of running with them, which Texas does fall into the trap a few times. Beard, throughout later the season, got them to stay in that action because you don't see a Texas game in the 140s very frequently. So that's where I think Gonzaga will be able to control it. Money line plus 120.
It's like we approach the game the same way. Listen, Chris Beard is the best defensive mind in college basketball. There's no question to me. None.
Mm-hmm.
None. We've seen it everywhere he's went. He's installed this great defensive strategy, but just like you said, it's to bog down the team. It's to keep it close. The problem is you can't keep the game close if you're taking the ball out of the rim every time. And Gonzaga just, from a talent standpoint, seems to be it's elevated based on, comparison to Texas, just respectfully. I like what Chris is doing, but the Gonzaga team that Few has this year, if we're talking talent, bro, they got 3 McDonald's All-Americans from last year that averaged less than 10 minutes a game. If there's any level of development from those kids, Gonzaga could be looking like an absolute juggernaut 20 games in.
Which we say every season about them almost.
Huh?
Which is a common thing we say about them most seasons.
Yeah, but you know what? It's something about this year where I just feel like the expectations aren't what they were over the last two. Like, I feel like the COVID year when they lost to Baylor, Suggs brought like a lot of like, man, you know what I mean? And then the team kind of flopped at the very end. And then last year, Chet never really I feel like Chet and Timmy never really fit.
And do you know who they got in to fit with them instead? Malachi Smith.
I like
Chattanooga.
Him. I like him. So and also Hunter, the kid from Omaha, Hunter Salas. I like his game. They got, like I said, this Gonzaga team is loaded. They're going to walk through the WCC. We already know that. But we also know, you and I both know, these are the games that Gonzaga can't afford to lose because they're not going to have any impressive wins past Christmas. Unless USF or St. Mary's decides to go 23-3. Unless that's the case, Gonzaga's going to walk through their conference. This is the only time they're going to get an opportunity to really, hammer out any exclamation point wins. This is it.
Yep. Kansas on deck. Baylor on the second. This is their tough part of their schedule. They got this to get through. And I just think this reminds me of the 2017 Gonzaga team more than anything else with the defense. Because when the Gonzaga side can actually play D, that's what makes this team much more different.
because they don't do anything but run. They don't stop. We all know how they get down. They do not stop running at Gonzaga. They get the ball. They run on makes. They run on misses. It does not matter with them. And for me in college basketball, I like two plays. I'm going to just get them out the way real quick because they're both in the same category. Tennessee, bounce back spot at the crib here. They were less than impressive the last time we saw them take the court. They looked fucking terrible. I like them to bounce back tonight. I like their team total over 80.5. That's in a matchup against Florida Gulf Coast. Obviously, Dunk City, your favorite school. I like the over 80.5 team total for Tennessee at -4. Super bounce back spot. Should have dominated their last game. Just let an average team hang around. I like Rick Barnes. Now, very seldomly do I pick Rick Barnes. I think everybody knows how I feel about him. I think he's an idiot. But facing an inferior opponent in your gymnasium should absolutely run out on these guys, in my opinion. I think at 81 points is easily attainable for this team. And then the second one for me is a team that I think we're going to be betting on a lot this season is the Houston Cougars. Absolutely loaded roster. I think the only team that can give them any smoke in their conference is obviously Memphis, but that's been the case for the last 3 years, right? They blow one of the games to Memphis every year as long as Kelvin Sampson's the fucking coach. Sometimes they'll lose both. Houston over 81.5 tonight against Texas Southern. Texas Southern's a team that wants to play with pace. They're not some half-court team. If they try to get into any level of a running match, Houston should put up close to 100 points. Don't exactly know why the number's at 81.5. Maybe they're like expecting Houston to I don't know why it's that low. But 81.5 feels like it feels like free money, in my opinion.
It's because in this type of game, Houston can be up 65-25. That's the one thing you see a lot of time in the ACC matchups or in the AAC matchups where they're just up 40 on teams real quick because this Houston team, I think their average age is like 22, something fucking wild like that. They have a different level of
experience.
Yeah, that's the best way to put it, especially with Sasser back. Oh.
I mean, they made the Final Four. And this is a program, again, regular season, they're always going to be good. Kelvin Sampson's a great regular season coach. He's proven that throughout his entire career as a head coach.
Well, they don't have to worry about drawing Nova in the Final Four to kick him out this year. So they'll be solid from that perspective.
We know the rules, man. He'll get to the Final Four, but he ain't finna win shit. And also, people also forget Kelvin Sampson coached Oklahoma in the national championship against Gary Williams, Maryland Terps, and lost. So he's lost in the final game, the Final Four, the Elite Eight, the Sweet 16, the round of 32, and the first round. He's the only coach in college basketball to do that. Pretty fucked up stat to be a part of. I'm just saying.
So we're staying back in the WCC. The Dons going to Fresno. Money line at -105. You can catch it at even on some shops out there right now. The Dons, this is just a home court advantage factor in here. I expect them to take care of Fresno with ease tonight. So I'll lock that one up as well. We'll stay away from the Iowa Seton Hall game. The over 151.5 is the thing that's calling my name here. I don't think Iowa's defense can compete. Seton Hall, I think, has a different level of talent, especially with Shanine there. I really want to take them on the -115. I think the smartest bet in that game is to back Seton Hall live since it's a pick 'em. You could get it. I just don't think any team covers this one from start to finish. But I like the Seton Hall to pull it out.
I mean, I have a feeling we're gonna be betting on Shaheen a few times this year, man. I really think they have some really good matchups. Two teams, bro.
I think tonight they have a beautiful matchup. It's just too early in the season I don't know. I think that one's probably going to be my regret, but the Leans are always undefeated, so you can lock in Seton Hall.
Two teams that I think will perform very well this year is Seton Hall, and I think that their former coach, they got something in Maryland, man. I like that roster at Maryland. Not bad.
Really needed a change of scene.
Under Armour spent some checks, man. They got some They got some boys in there now. Woo! They're looking all right. Obviously, they get Wiggins back, so that should always help the program out. But two teams I think that are going to be betting darlings all season: Maryland and Seton Hall. I like Maryland. I like when Maryland gets in conference and they got to go see teams like Nebraska and fucking Minnesota. I think they'll beat the fuck out of them. I think regular season is going to be there. I think they're going to have a hell of a year.
Yeah, like what Dougie dropped in here in one of the better low-key games of the night with Arizona State going to VCU. The under sitting at, on my book, 133.5. Can't hate that one there. Nice little low-key matchup. And then you also have, that's at a neutral site. Then another neutral site game, you got Michigan at Pittsburgh, 8.5, 138.
Where's that game being played?
They're both neutral. I don't know exactly where. Michigan should roll them.
Michigan should beat the shit out of them.
Capel is one of the bigger frauds out there with Pitt.
I almost didn't recognize Hunter Dickinson without a fade, but that's a conversation we'll get into some other day. He's just had no idea who that guy was the other night. I was like, "Is that what the?" It was weird for me, man. I'm sorry. He's clearly discovered certain parts of his existence.
Other than that, nothing else on the board for tonight.
Nah, nothing I can think of.
No
man.
hockey plays?
Fuck no. Not tonight. Your Flyers fucked off the money the last time we bet on them. Because they were good and lost 1-0 in fucking overtime.
I don't know why you're betting on the Flyers. I never told you to do that.
They're your team.
Doesn't mean you should.
I mean, if you don't, who's going to?
Other than that, I ain't got much else on the board for today. College football action, you mean you got your action. You've seen how those games have gone. I'm pretty sure the dog has covered most of them, if not all of them so far this season. You saw the wildness in Toledo Bowling Green where 2 touchdowns were scored in the final 50 seconds of the game.
Mm-hmm.
So enjoy your action if you're watching it.
Absolutely. Yeah, I've got nothing else, man. Tennessee being ranked 22 in the country is kind of crazy considering how much talent they have on their roster. I think they're a top 15 team. But then again, Rick Barnes is their coach. One of my official plays tonight. He fucks this up, we'll just eliminate them from the whole shit all year. That I'm not betting them a single time after that.
Nah, Tennessee's going to be great till the tournament like they are every year.
Doug, to take the over, possibly not. I think that game could be like 85-40. They could beat this. They could really beat the shit out of
the other thing with the overs, St. Mary's and the numbers got us and cashed us on that Vermont game. We may never touch a single over in one of their games for the rest of the season because, one, that was a sweat. But their next 2 games, they're just holding teams to under 60 points at ease. And it just depends how much their offense has scored. So to what you alluded to, St. Mary's, the Dons look like they could give Gonzaga some quality wins. We started off the episode.
St. Mary's, the Gales.
Yeah, I said St. Mary's and the Dons for San Francisco. So that because they'll get some quality wins as well.
Only reason I know that is because of you. So,
but other than that, we started off with the NBA. Check the ticker at the bottom. I think it was around the 8-minute mark where we covered all the marquee matchups. We went long on Texas versus Gonzaga since that's the big college hoops games tonight, and we wrapped it up there. We got a Miami, Ohio, Northern Illinois over 45.5 play on the board.
Best of luck.
I don't know what 87-43 means.
Hey, man,
final score prediction.
The score in the Houston game. Like the only thing we know for a fact is that the game shouldn't be particularly close. Texas Southern's not good. Not compared to what Houston.
In their conference, they're good.
So, not compared to Houston. They should get stomped out pretty well tonight.
Yeah,
I'm
make sure
the fans traveling at all.
Make sure you hit up the Diamond Club for the weekend, week, or month package. World Cup right around the corner. We'll be covering that all the days. You already know that.
Match day 1 Sunday, baby. We're here.
Like, retweet, follow, sub. We out.